Hi, second grade. Welcome back to our last step of this movement project. So by now you should have your two movement kind of abstract paintings done and dried. And so you can see I have just one of mine in front of me. And so what you're going to need today is a pair of scissors, glue of some sort, whether it's like Elmer's liquid glue or a glue stick would hopefully work fine. If you don't have glue, you could use tape. Um, and then if you don't have tape, maybe if you have a stapler. I'm just trying to think of things for you to kind of adhere your paper together. Um, and then you are going to need a piece of construction paper. If you don't have construction paper, you can kind of get creative with what the base of your project is going to be. Maybe you look at how um, this project is going to work, and then you can kind of be creative with what you pick for your base. I'm picking a piece of black construction paper, so you can kind of see it up in the corner just off to the side. So what you're going to do first is you are going to take your paintings, and I know that you guys work so hard on them, but we are going to cut them into long strips of paper. And you can decide whether you have it be the short way, or if you cut them the long way, kind of horizontal. Um, I'm just cutting them short for now. And you can also decide kind of the thickness, how wide you are cutting them. I tried to keep them similar, but you guys can really be creative with it. Maybe one of them is really wide, one of them is really skinny. You can kind of do with it as you please. Okay, so that's my first one kind of cut up, moving it off to the side, taking my second paper. I cut kind of the same, and I think I end up turning my paper maybe, or I guess not. Um, I guess I didn't, but so I cut them, and I have two piles, and you can tell that they're both different. And I want to remind you that we're trying to create this illusion of movement. So we're going to be creating kind of this like 3D paper sculpture, and it's going to almost represent kind of like waves or maybe a roller coaster, depending on how you are going to be with creating your kind of paper. I'm just moving them off to the side so I have a little bit more room to work with. And so what you're going to want to do is you're going to start with one strip of paper. You can see I was using the liquid glue and then just kind of an old paintbrush that I didn't really, it wasn't the nicest one, so I didn't mind if I got glue on it. And I'm putting just a little bit of glue on either ends. If you want to, you could fold back your ends and make like little folded feet for your paper. I chose not to do that, but then you want to glue them so that it creates kind of like an archway. And the closer you put your two ends together, the higher the arch will be. So you can kind of decide if it's a kind of a lower, more spread out arch of your paper, or if it's a little bit closer together. And so my first one, they're kind of more further apart. This second one, I'm going to have it be a little bit closer together. And you can see I'm folding it back on this second one, which I wish I had done on the first one. And that creates kind of these two little feet that I can put glue on, and it will help me when actually gluing it down. I also forgot to mention this in this first one. When you do hold it down, depending on what type of glue you use, hold it for at least 10-15 seconds so that way it's really secure and strong and it's not going to come up and you're going to have to keep re-gluing it again and again and again. Just it will be a little bit better to just count to 10 in the long run and make it really secure. And you're just going to start filling in your strips of paper kind of however you want. Put different colors next to each other. Maybe you curl some of them. You guys can really just be kind of creative as you want. Like I said, this is an abstract art, which means that we're not actually trying to create something that we can identify. So it's not like we're creating an animal or a landscape. We're more so taking an inspiration. So our inspiration is movement, maybe creating like waves of the ocean or waves of water. And we're trying to recreate that in an abstract way. Okay. You can under and overlap your pieces of paper if you would like to. Really just get creative with it. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward this a little bit just because it's me gluing. It's kind of repetitive. Maybe you change the direction. Maybe, because right now I'm having mine go all horizontal side to side. Maybe you have some go vertical. You guys can really get creative with it, okay? And so you might have strips of paper left over at the end, which is totally fine. You can kind of do with those as you please. But at the end of our project, it should look something like this, where we have our 2 different color papers cut into strips. They're kind of in this abstract wave looking sculpture, and that is giving the kind of illusion of like movement. We have these kind of different papers that are kind of going up and down, moving all around our paper. Okay, and like I mentioned earlier in the video, this black piece of construction paper was my base, but if you don't have black construction paper, maybe you use a page from a magazine, a piece of cardboard, maybe a regular piece of paper, just something that will help make your painted piece of paper stand out, okay? This is the last step of our project, so I will need you to take a picture, add it to the Google Classroom assignment, or email it to me, and then next week we will start something new. I can't wait to see how these come out, and I will chat with you guys next week. All right, bye.